indestructible, gigantic, unsinkable. It was Titanic. Titanic is defined as exceptional strength, size, or power, and in 1912, that is just what the SS Titanic was. Elizabeth Schutz, a passenger whose story was recorded in eyewitnesshistory.com, recalls that, with too perfect a trust in that mighty vessel, I again lay down. Thus, the unsinkable Titanic, the safest boat of its time, becomes one of the most tragic stories in history. The Titanic was a 52,000-ton vessel with a tonnage of 46,328 tons. The ship was 822.5 feet long and 92.5 feet wide. In Britannica's article titled Titanic, it says, as to safety elements, the Titanic had 16 compartments that included doors which could be closed from the bridge so that water could be contained in the event the hull was breached. 4 of these compartments could be filled with water and the ship could stay afloat. According to the article, What Sank the Titanic, a forensics analysis published by the Odyssey, the ship's frame was covered in 1-inch thick steel plates that were held together by 3 million rivets. After the Titanic was deemed seaworthy following sea trials, the ship set out on its maiden voyage on April 10, 1912, from Southampton, England. The maiden voyage offered a little foreshadowing. In the article Titanic, it goes on to say, the voyage nearly began with a collision. However, when the section from the Titanic caused the docked New York to swing into the liner's path. The ship reached its second stop at Cherbourg, France on the evening of April 10th. On April 11th, it made its last stop in Europe at Queenstown, Ireland, before it set off for New York City. Published in the 2000 article in Eyewitness History, it states that she was touted as the safest ship ever built, so safe that she only carried 20 lifeboats, enough to provide accommodations for half of her 2,200 passengers and crew. On the night of April 14, 1912, at 11:35 p.m., an iceberg was spotted. The crew had been informed that there were icebergs in the area they were heading into earlier in the evening. According to Titanic, Captain Smith had slightly altered her course further south, but maintained the 22-knot speed. When the Titanic's hull scraped the iceberg at 11:40, after a turn was attempted, 6 compartments were filled with water. In the Odyssey's 2012 article titled What Sank the Titanic, a Forensics Analysis, it says, during the turn, Captain Smith ordered the engine stopped, hoping to slow the ship as it neared the iceberg. But modern analysis indicates that cutting the engines would have also reduced the Titanic's turning ability. It also goes on to say that there had been no previous lifeboat drills, and despite a scarcity of seats, the first lifeboats launched were less than half full. The boats also appear to have been filled in a way that gave unfair advantage to wealthier first-class passengers. On Sunday, September 1st, 1985, the shipwreck was discovered. In an article written by William J. Broad of the New York Times, following the discovery, he said, Dr. Robert D. Ballard of the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution in Massachusetts, the leader of the expedition, said in a ship-to-shore interview that pieces of the ship were found early Sunday. It goes on to say that the Titanic's wreckage had eluded at least 3 teams who'd set out to find it. After 73 years, the wreckage was discovered nearly 400 miles east of Newfoundland, 1,200 feet down on the ocean floor. Though the last survivors have gone, the world still remembers the events that took place that day. The disaster that occurred had helped ship manufacturers, captains, navigators, and engineers shape the safety elements of the ships we have now. Today, April 15th, 1912, is a timeless reminder that even the most titanic creations are not unsinkable.